So it's Mental Health Month. Yay! Just kidding, it's Mental Health Month, guys! I love Mental Health Month. I get overexcited about it every year. And this year, I wanted to share 4 sustainable self care tips that you can try this Mental Health Month. Now, the thing with mental health is it's really, really affected by our environment. Not only do green spaces help your mental health tremendously, your family, friends, your immediate surroundings impact your mental health. And not just that, but climate change impacts your mental health. And how climate change is reported impacts your mental health. Dr. Ranjan Ghosh from Good Karma, for example, said that climate change can make existing anxiety worse. And I recently did a presentation on how climate change affects our mental health. And one of the highlights from it was that climate change can make existing substance abuse disorders worse. Right? Not only is climate change affecting our physical health, but it's also affecting our mental health because it's increasing food insecurity, water insecurity, all of which are leading to PTSD, anxiety, and stuff like that. Right? So, self care becomes extremely important because that, even if you're not suffering the adverse effects of climate change, which with these heat waves, like who isn't? Even if you aren't for some reason, which great job if you have found a way to sort of escape these heat waves. But even if you are in, there's probably some sort of stress in your life. And if there isn't, please tell me how you have built a life that's so good that there is no negative stresses. Because stresses are of two kinds, they're positive and negative. Positive stresses motivate us to do better in life, right? Even though they are still a cause of stress. Therefore, mental well being is very important. Mental hygiene is very important. Good sleep, good food, those are two very important things. So, my 4 sustainable mental health care tips would be number one, stay hydrated because water is literally fuel for our bodies. Like food is fuel for our bodies, but so is water. Water is so incredibly important. Staying hydrated keeps our skin young and fresh looking, it keeps us in a better mood. So stay hydrated, and if you want to stay sustainably hydrated, you can get a reusable water bottle. You have to just clean it once a day and replace it whenever there's a accumulation of like dirt on it, which no matter how much you clean doesn't go away. So that's one way to stay sustainably hydrated. If you for some reason have forgotten your water bottle at home, though, that does not mean you go without water like I did for a very long time. Instead, you get one of those reusable or one time use plastic water bottles. I was about to say reusable, and then I was like, wait, those aren't actually reusable. We tend to reuse them in Indian households, which probably isn't the most hygienic thing to do. But get those plastic water bottles and drink, hydrate yourself. That is so very important. It's important to be healthily, imperfectly sustainable rather than being completely 100% sustainable at the cost of your health. So stay hydrated and eat good food if possible. My second tip would be to get good sleep. Now, you must be wondering what is the connection between sustainability and sleep, right? This sounds like a very generic mental health tip. The connection between sustainability and sleep is that a lot of us need sleeping aids. I, for myself, need ASMR to sleep, and therefore, it is kind of a struggle to look for eco friendly ASMR to listen to, though that is taking it to another level. You can just listen to regular ASMR. But getting good sleep is very sustainable as it keeps you from burning out, it keeps you energized, it keeps you activated. Good sleep and third tip, good exercise. So, good sleep and good exercise keep your body functioning optimally, right? So, get good sleep. If you need to use lavender oil to sleep, or if you need to have chamomile tea. If you need to have I'm sorry, I keep confusing cinnamon and chamomile. In my head, they are the same thing. Right? If you need to have chamomile tea to sleep, and don't take my advice on it, please go to your doctor and ask them what you should do to improve your sleep hygiene. Some things that I can say off the top of my head that my psychiatrist has recommended to me are stuff like no screen time 1 hour before bed, read something before bed. You can look at Muses Saga for books made on eco friendly recycled paper, which are sustainable, right? No consumption of caffeine after 5 p.m. So, if you follow tips and tricks like these, you can have a good sleep hygiene, which is very important. So let's recap: good water, good sleep. Number three, good exercise. Now, how to be sustainable when it comes to exercising? Sustainability is not just about the environment, it is also about the people. And we are part of that, right? We are human beings, so we are part of people. And good exercise is something you can do very easily. You have to just set a routine. I personally am still struggling with that, so I recognize it if you can't. Trust me, I get it, bro. But good exercise is so incredibly important. And if you want to be sustainable with your exercise, you can get sustainable exercising materials. So instead of buying a brand new yoga mat, you can actually take the yoga mat that you have had for years, which you haven't used, or that your dad uses, and you can use it after your dad is done using it. My dad personally does his yoga on the carpet at home. I'm not sure how healthy that is. There's a reason yoga mats are a thing, in my opinion, but that is just one person's opinion, and he's never faced any health issues. So you can do your yoga, you can go swimming like I do, and you can get ethical swimwear from websites like Brown Living India, which consist of ethical clothing. So yes, good sleep, staying hydrated, exercising. These are three very important things. These are sustainable self-care tips, and these are things you can do without costing the environment a penny. The planet is really not suffering if you sleep well. You do not have to burn yourself out being an activist 24/7. And the fourth, take a moment to rest and relax. This is very important, especially for people who are constantly working, who are working 2 jobs a day, or who are activists. It is so easy to get caught up in the swept of things. And this is coming from a personal experience. This happened with me recently. I got so caught up in the everyday grind of life that I forgot to take a moment to rest and relax. I hadn't taken a weekend in almost a month, and I felt terribly sick. So, to avoid that, take an hour out, maybe in the whole week. Just take an hour out if possible. And I know it's very difficult for some of us to do that, but take an hour out, go for a walk, feel nature around you. That's all. That does not cost the planet a penny. That is not taxing the resources on the planet, but just taking a walk in nature, maybe playing your favorite board game that you've had for years since you were a child. And see, things are sustainable if they're reused again and again, right? So playing that board game that you had when you were a child, that playing it again when you're an adult makes it sustainable because you've used it for so many years again and again. It's been a constant source of joy, right? And do your skincare. I mean, this is an additional tip. Tip number 5, do your skincare. Skincare is so relaxing. And I have a whole video on how to build a sustainable skincare routine, which you can check out. But doing your skincare, just loving yourself, giving yourself that attention is so incredibly important. It does not require you escaping from the day. Just splashing some water on your face, putting on SPF, putting on a nice moisturizer that makes you feel good, makes you feel like all the time that you're putting in, all the effort you're putting in work is worth something. So good sleep, good food, staying hydrated, doing your skincare, exercising, and relaxing. Those are 6 tips. I started with 4. Right? All of those things are things you can do without costing the planet a penny to help yourself to do self-care this mental health month. See ya. And yes, Brown Living India will be linked down below. My video will be linked down below. And my blog will be linked down below, where all of this is present in a more structured manner.